Alright, so I recently beat Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Raised His Name. And I have a lot of thoughts on this game. First, I want to go over some of my thoughts going into the game, my prior history with Like a Dragon or the Yakuza series, as I don't really have a lot of history with Yakuza or Like a Dragon. I remember playing a couple Yakuza games back in the day, but it never really vibed with me too much. I never really fully grasped what was going on to the point where like it interested me. With that being said, a couple of friends and family members that I know were really, really into the series, and they kept me up to date with pretty much the story of Kiryu and everything that was going on. And the first Like a Dragon game that I actually played and really enjoyed was Like a Dragon Ishin, which came out earlier this year. It was a remake of a PS3 game that never released out of Japan. And that game was amazing. That game was fantastic, but it was a spin off where it used all the Like a Dragon characters without actually being a Like a Dragon game, like canon within the Kiryu storyline. So that was really interesting. I really liked the combat, but in general, what I really grasped from that game was kind of this formula that is an RGG style game where it's over the top stories, over the top drama, it's action that is like super cartoony but just really really fun to engage with. So after I played that game, I was convinced that I really wanted to get into this series, and I didn't know where a good jumping off point would be, as there are 7 games, a couple spin-offs, and then an 8th game coming out next year. So I figured Like a Dragon Gaiden might be my best bet into this franchise, as it'll kind of like blend together Kiryu's story as well as with the story of Yakuza 7, as they kind of like run similar in vein. If you played Yakuza 7, then you'll see a lot of moments that are very familiar, and you'll hear about a lot of things that make sense to you. If you've never played any Like a Dragon game like me, really, then Like a Dragon Gaiden for me was a good jumping off point. It was a good entry point into not just learning Kiryu, but also just recapping everything Kiryu has been through, everything the Yakuzas have been through, and what Yakuza means in Japan. Overall, I mean, yeah, I don't think I could have chose a better jumping off point than maybe just starting with the original game, which would have took way longer. And obviously, there's stuff that I missed, right? There's a lot of details and characters that are obviously important to the overall story. But generally speaking, I don't think I don't think it necessarily takes away from the experience, for me at least. It definitely could have amplified the experience. Playing through Like a Dragon Gaiden, I really, really wished I had hopped onto this series earlier, as there's tons of callbacks to prior moments. There's tons of like really, really rewarding moments for people who have been fans of this game for a very, very long time. And this is where I think a lot of the I don't want to say controversy, because there's not really a lot of controversy about this game, but I guess a lot of like the mixed reviews, because I don't think this game shined as brightly as like a Yakuza 7 did, where it was like a game changer or anything. If anything, it was just kind of a callback to everything Yakuza had been for the last 6 games. Like a Dragon Gaiden is a very short game, especially in the Like a Dragon series, as I think I beat the game in like 15 hours, and I was doing very minimal side quests. I was just really just doing like the mainline game. Um, but as far as like the story of this game goes, it's definitely a RGG style game. It's over the top. It's dramatic. It has these cool set pieces, amazing character design. Like, I think something that like really really stands out in this franchise is how in depth they can get into the characters. Kiryu is a character that I've known a while about, but I didn't fully understand him. And playing through Like a Dragon Gaiden, I definitely understand his stoic nature. He's this cool badass. He's suave. He's, like, he's a hero. He's a hero for a hero's sake, and I really enjoy playing as Kiryu. I think he is one of the most badass characters I've seen in a game in a very, very long time. And yes, he comes off as like stoic, but also kind of try hard at the same time. I don't know. He pulls it off though, and it's just really really cool to see. I like that big brooding character that is kind of like has a sweetheart but doesn't really like to show it. And that is very much Kiryu. Kiryu is that guy. He's the guy that anyone can rally behind. He's the guy that you can definitely be, friends with. You can definitely want to partner up with him. And it's very evident that everyone throughout, Japan really, really respects this man, Kiryu. Well, Anyways, let's hop into what the actual story of the man who erased his name is. So, if you guys are unfamiliar, or if you are familiar with the Yakuza story, Kiryu has been the long-running main protagonist up until Yakuza 6. In the end of Yakuza 6, Kiryu faked his own death in order to protect his loved ones, and then went off into hiding. This is where we find Kiryu now in Like a Dragon Gaiden, where Kiryu has been pretty much out of the Yakuza game for, I believe, like 2 years now, and he's just been in hiding and meditating and really, thinking about his life. Then he gets called back into the Yakuza, underground crime family, as they have a task for him. The people who protect him have a task for him that only he can help them with, etc. He eventually gets mixed up really deep into the Yakuza, lifestyle again. Not that he necessarily wants to. He's definitely very adamant that he wants no part of this. He's trying to keep the name Kiryu dead, and in turn, he adopts the name Joryu, which is come on, that is damn near too close to Kiryu, my guy. Anyway, so my guy Joryu now is undercover, and he's trying to pretty much figure out where all this corruption within the city's lying. How he's trying to help out like friends and family that he meets along the way. Overall, the story is silly, but also I take it serious. I don't know how they managed to make it fun, like these little gags that they have all the time. There's this running joke that everyone knows who Kiryu is, yet he still pretends like he has no idea who they are. They're like, Kiryu, we know it's you. Take off your glasses so we can see your face. And he's like, I don't know who this Kiryu guy is, but he sounds awesome. And it's just really cool, and it's really fun to kind of just play along with it. I like that everyone kind of just goes with it. This game, like, for the story, even though it is short and there are some pacing issues, there are some moments in the middle, I would say, where it definitely drags a little bit, and you kind of just want to get back to the story, but you're stuck doing like these kind of side quest missions that I don't really love. But overall, the story was very concise. It did a really, really good job of recapping everything that happened, and it just gave me a good feel of this world and these characters, the way they live and the way they think. And I think that is what I needed to get into this franchise, because now I'm very excited. I want to play Like a Dragon 7, but I also want to play Like a Dragon 8. I don't know which one to hop into afterwards. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyways, why did I hark on the story so much about this game? I think the story is the driving factor for me. I think the fun in like the way the characters engage with each other, the soap opera-ness, the campiness, I think that's probably like the main highlight of Like a Dragon Gaiden. Because as far as the gameplay goes, so this is a 3D beat 'em up, and it is a beat 'em up for beat 'em up's sake. It is like there's like no depth really to the game. There's some combos, there's some parry and stuff like that, but nothing in general beyond just like beating up a bunch of people until you get to the end of the game. And it does not try to hide that. It is very much like a pick up lead pipe and smash guy's head in, parry this, dash this, and then attack this. There's very little like actual depth to the combat system, which I don't mind. It is a mindless beat 'em up when it comes to just the combat for the most part. There are some boss fights that do challenge you and force you to, really prioritize parrying, really prioritizing when you're going to use your heat gauge and stuff like that. But in general, when you're just like walking down the street and mopping up fools, it's a fun game. And I think there's not much beyond the actual like beating up people, but what is there is fun. It helps that it's a really short game, so it helps that you're not like dragging it out for too long. So you can definitely just play around with it, 20 hours, and then you're not really. I don't see a reason to ever go back to it. I think the story again was the reason to play this game to completion, and I'm glad I did, because again, this game has one of the best endings I think I experienced this year. This ending was so fun. It was so over the top, and it made me really understand everything this franchise has been through, and it really, really made me wish I had gotten into this series earlier, because I think this payoff at this end was probably one of the best payoffs in gaming history, probably, because it was so fun and amazing. It doesn't by all means elevate this game to the upper echelon of gaming, it's not that type of game, but for what it is here, you definitely can't go wrong picking this game up and playing it. If you have no idea anything of the Like a Dragon series, because at least I had like some kind of understanding of it, I do think it'd be kind of hard to just hop into it without knowing anything. So if you do plan on making this your first Like a Dragon game, definitely read up some YouTube videos, watch some stuff, see what's going on, so you have a deeper understanding. If you've played any other Like a Dragon game before and you liked it, definitely hop into this game. This game is a must for any, Yakuza fan, any Like a Dragon fan. If you're a fan of that style of game, you have to play this game because it is a good time. And I know a lot of people weren't really hyping this game up too much. But I think if you just give it a shot, you'll definitely see what makes this game special. If you're just not interested in like a game at all, if you're not a fan of 3D beat 'em ups, this isn't gonna be a game that's gonna change your mind. This isn't gonna be a game that's gonna redefine what this kind of franchise is. It is not that. This is very much what you expect from a game like a Dragon, just more concise, a little bit more to the point. And overall, I mean, I had a blast playing it. I definitely do recommend it though to people who are interested in the franchise. Again, just not someone, if you've tried one and you didn't really vibe with it, this isn't gonna change your mind. Anyways, that's gonna be the end of this review. Do me a favor and like this video. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing, as that does help me out tons. I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Go ahead and enjoy your guys' day. Enjoy whatever else you have planned, and I'll see you guys on the next video.